With a 20-year reputation for clean business, Matt Glynn at Code Property Group is the first choice for real estate on the Sunshine Coast and surrounding areas. I've known Matt for a very long time from a personal level and professional level, and he is an excellent real estate agent. He's professional, he holds a high level of integrity, he presents incredibly well, and has a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to the real estate industry. So if you are in the market to buy, sell, or simply get a valuation and find out more about your current property, then give Matt a call on 0404 315 066 or matt.glynn, GLYNN at codepg.com. You won't be disappointed. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. This week, once again, I'm running solo and it's a topic this week that I wanted to chat about because it comes up so often. For those of us in the community, and there's plenty of us that don't have a huge grasp or just a good knowledge around nutrition, this particular topic can really be very relevant. So, if you're someone who wants to lose some weight, but doesn't really understand nutrition as well as you should, and maybe finds it a little bit confronting, a little bit confusing, a little bit overwhelming, or you just don't want to go down that path of learning calories and macros, this is the podcast for you. So grab a pen, sit down, and get ready to take some notes, because I'm going to talk about fat. Now, we often speak about protein and the importance of it. We often speak about carbohydrates and the importance of it. But fat is something that is incredibly prevalent in most of the food we eat, and more often than not, it's very much confusing in terms of us eating quote-unquote healthy fats and what that actually means. When, in point of fact, is if your objective is to lose weight, and that's the principal reason behind the messaging of this podcast, if you're looking to lose weight, you need to lower your fat intake. It's as simple as that. Yes, you need to modify every other macronutrient, and obviously, exercise is important, sleep is important, stress management is important, water intake is important, but fat is the heaviest calorie out of the three macronutrients, so it's a lot denser, it's a lot harder to break down, particularly if it's trans fat, if it's artificial fat. The body has a lot of difficulty processing that from time to time, and we're in an age now where a lot of food is manufactured. It's actually produced in a factory. It doesn't come from a tree. It doesn't come from the ground. It doesn't come from an animal. It's produced. And a lot of the time, those products contain a lot of fat. So it's very much a case that we need to be firstly aware of it. And secondly, if we can make a conscious effort to reduce our overall fat intake on a daily basis, you're going a long way into having success on a weight loss journey. So let's get into some nitty gritty and actually give you some examples of what I mean. As an example, and I use this a lot, I've done a few seminars on this particular topic or spoken about it during a seminar. I've even spoken about it during podcasts, and that is, the healthy fats and breakfast. If you go to any cafe in Australia, one of the principal things on that menu, or an option on that menu, will be a smashed avo. Some version of a smashed avo will be there. It's a very common breakfast item. It's a very popular breakfast item. So a typical smashed avo looks something like, one or two pieces of sourdough bread with butter. Obviously avocado. It's generally about half an avocado. You got bacon on the side. You might have an egg, drizzle of balsamic, some spinach, maybe some relish, maybe some mushrooms. That will be sort of a general smashed avo. Now, if we break that down and look at the macronutrient content of that particular meal, sourdough bread, it's actually a fatty bread, so it contains a reasonable amount of fat. Butter is primarily fat. Avocado is fat. Bacon contains a high amount of fat. Eggs have a lot of fat. So straight away, that breakfast on its own can contain, and I'm conservatively guessing here, 30 to 40 to 50 grams of fat in one meal, when from a holistic perspective, just as a general overview, most people have that in a day. That's their daily allowance if they're trying to lose weight. So if you're eating that in one meal, what does the rest of the day look for you? How does that turn out? Are you having 100 grams of fat per day, maybe even more, and you don't even realize, and you're wondering why you're not losing weight, yet your argument is, but I eat healthy. And yes, your argument in some respects is true, because a smashed avo in the morning, sourdough bread's definitely a good bread option. Avocado, it's obviously a fruit, it's really good. Bacon, yes, absolutely, you're getting some good fats in there. Eggs, absolutely. Spinach, yes. But we still have to look at the macronutrient breakdown, and that particular example contains a lot of fat, and people don't realize it, so you have to reduce that. So an alternative in that situation would simply be eggs on toast. You can even go to the extreme, if you're making it at home, to maybe have one egg white and one egg. So straight away, the fat content of an egg is in the yolk. Remove the avocado or halve the avocado. Have a shortcut bacon rather than a full cut bacon. Things like that can be substituted very, very easily, and that will allow you to have a significant fat reduction in your day. Other things that I hear often are people that have salmon and tuna, and even mackerel you can put in the same category. They're all oily fishes, therefore their fillets contain a lot of fat content. Yet when you speak to someone who doesn't have the nutritional knowledge around it, they say, well, it's a healthy fat, it's a good fat, and we're led to believe that. Salmon's got a bunch of omegas in it. It is a really good oil to consume, but it's still a fat, and you still need to be very much aware of it. You still need to be very much across it, because a 150 gram fillet of salmon contains around 30 grams of fat. That's one fillet of fish. If you have that with a side of potato, maybe an egg, some bacon, I don't know what else you would have with it, you could end up having a meal that's got 40 grams of fat in it. And again, you've blown your day simply through one meal. So again, this comes down to knowledge and understanding, which is why I wanted to do this podcast. So as a substitution for salmon or tuna, have a white-fleshed fish. 150 grams of salmon, as I said, is around 30 grams of fat. 150 grams of barramundi is around 2 grams of fat. Massive difference, and yet you're still getting the same source of protein. You're still getting the same quantity of protein. You're still having a really healthy meal, but you're reducing your fat intake considerably. Other scenarios, if we look at what people do, you get to Friday, you're tired, you don't want to cook, so you get takeaway, but you want to have like a healthy takeaway, maybe a Thai, maybe a Subway. Maybe you get, I don't even know, you order from somewhere else that provides sort of a quote unquote healthy options. But more often than not, most things have fat in them. Stir fries contain fat in the marinades. The meat that they use, here's a great example. Chicken thigh is a very cheaper part of the bird, but it's actually a fattier part of the bird compared to the breast. The breast is the leanest part you can get in terms of the chicken meat. A wing is very fatty, a drumstick is very fatty, a Maryland is very fatty, and a thigh is very fatty. But thigh, as I mentioned, is a cheaper part of the bird. Therefore, it's put in a lot more takeaways like Indian, like Thai, because it is a cheaper meat. Yet it is a fattier meat. So straight away, you're increasing your fat considerably. So things like that need to be made, you need to be very much aware of. So when you're ordering protein or when you're cooking at home, it's really important that you identify the leaner meats and you stick to them. Steak is another one. Steak is really good for you because it contains a lot of iron, right? Yes, red meat, perfect. But the various cuts of red meat can vary in terms of fat content. T-bone, sirloin, porterhouse are all very, very fatty meats. Rump is the leanest cut. If you compare, say, 150 grams of rump to 150 grams of sirloin, there's about a 20 to 30 gram difference of fat between the two, because sirloin, T-bone, and porterhouse all contain a lot more marble from where it is on the animal compared to rump, which is a leaner part of the beast. So again, you've got to make those decisions and actually be aware. And the more you can make these substitutions, so you're not actually missing out. You're not going, oh, well, I can't eat that now. No, we're swapping like for like. It's just a different thing. It's a different selection. So it's really important that we get across that and we actually understand it. And yeah, fat's in everything. A couple of cups of coffee a day. Here's another perfect example. You have a couple of cups of coffee a day on full cream milk, so a latte or a cappuccino, compared to, say, a skim milk option or an alternative milk option, you can reduce your fat content down by, say, 10 grams per cup. Full cream milk could be, I think from memory, 250 mils, which would be about a medium coffee size, would be about 9 grams, 8 grams of fat. You go skim milk, it's about 2. So yes, it doesn't sound like much, but you have 2 or 3 in a day, which a lot of people do have these days, and then times that by, say, 5 days a week, straight away, there's a lot of fat that you've just pulled out of your week. These are the things that can make serious reductions. Butter. Butter's a big one. People put butter on their toast. They put butter everywhere. They cook in butter. Straight away, you can remove that from your week. It's a simple reduction that you probably won't even miss. Oil is another one. Do you spray or pour oil in your pan before you cook meat or before you cook anything? Do you roast your vegetables in oil? Again, oil it's just fat. It's pure fat. So straight away, again, you're removing something that you have complete control over. Nuts, seeds, coconut, all of these things contain fats that we have a lot of control over. Do you have regular, social outings or dinner nights or events where you put out like a cheese platter or a cheese board? Cheese is primarily fat. The meats, the cured meats that you put on those boards are primarily fat. Salami, what's the other one? Salami and I can't think of the other one now. I've lost it. But you know what I mean? Like those fattier cured meats all contain, like if you actually look at a slice of salami, it's got chunks of fat in it. The white chunks are actually fat. It's pure fat. So those sorts of things, if you're aware of it, you can modify it, you can change it, you can reduce it, and that's going to go a long way into you having a lot of success in this space. Ice cream, chocolate, donuts, all the common things that people tend to crave in terms of high sugar. They think it's sugar, but it's actually fat. You're craving a lot more fat than you realize. And if you can reduce those things, you're going to go a long way, again, into having success in terms of a weight loss journey. So it's really important that these sorts of things are very much at the forefront of your mind when you plan out your week's meals, when you prepare meals in advance. The more you are across it, the more you're going to make smarter decisions. The more you make smarter decisions, the less fat you've got in your diet. When you've got less fat in your diet, that's going to have a considerable reduction in calories in your day, in your week, and you're going to have success just off the back of that. Like, think about it. How simple is it to switch out a piece of salmon for a piece of barramundi, right? It's so easy to do. Yes, there might be a change in flavor and a way you cook it and things like that, but it's still protein for protein. It's still fish for fish. You're just reducing your fat intake by a considerable amount. And if your objective is to look better, feel better, lose some weight, move better, have higher energy, drop a few kilos, improve your aesthetics, then it's a sacrifice worth making, I believe. It really is. So things like that can really make a massive, massive difference in terms of, simple yet very effective sacrifices. We obviously had Halloween yesterday. Today is the 1st of November. Yesterday was the 31st. Yesterday was Halloween. Big night for chocolate. And I'm sure all of the adults out there probably had a few too many as well, or maybe hooked into their kids' stash when they got home. Now, chocolate, like a simple chocolate bar, the chocolate section in the supermarket where, you've just got a bar, not a full block. And it's obviously there for a reason, because they want people to walk through the aisles, get what they need, and then walk past that one and go, I'll just grab that and have it on the way. Each chocolate bar is around 10 grams of fat. So if you have one of them a day, it adds up. If you grab a couple, it adds up. If you eat a family-sized block, oh my God, it is huge. Same with biscuits, cakes, pastries. There's a reason why the bakery is set up the way it's set up, because the food is on display. Firstly, you eat it with your eyes, and secondly, you eat it with your nose, and thirdly, you eat it with your mouth. But fourthly, apple pie, caramel slice, vanilla slice, donuts, long johns, eclairs, they all contain a huge amount of fat. You have one of them a day or two a day, or like I see people roll into our local bakery and grab a pie and a dessert and then a chocolate milk. Like, there's 30 or 40 or 50 grams of fat straight away without even blinking, and that's probably a normal day for them. I did a video a while ago that's still up on YouTube, where I compared a sandwich from 7-Eleven, so a takeaway sandwich that you buy in the plastic container from 7-Eleven. I think it was chicken and salad, and compared that to the calories of a pie, of a standard, I think it was a 4 and 20 pie if I remember correctly. The chicken sandwich actually came out higher in terms of calories and higher in terms of fat, because the chicken was obviously a thigh, and it had mayonnaise and butter and bread, and that all contained fat, whereas the pie was less because it was just a stock standard pie. Yes, there was still fat, but surprisingly, the sandwich contained more. Now, if you're on the road, if you're short on time, and you have to make a quick stop into like a 7-Eleven or a Servo or something like that, where you've got to get something to eat because you're starving, without knowledge, chances are you're going to go for the sandwich because you believe just through, a lack of education, that is a better option in terms of calories. It's healthier because it might have chicken and salad on it. When the point of fact is, if your objective is to lose weight, you're actually putting yourself into more of a surplus because it contains more calories. So again, it's very much a knowledge-based situation that you have to find yourself in to make these decisions. But through listening to stuff like this, where you can actually make smart decisions and start to read the packets on things, you're going to go a long way to having success. Another example that I just thought of, the ready-made meals. It's a huge section in Coles and Woolworths now, the ready-made meals. They're ready to go. You whip them in the microwave for 3 minutes, they're good to go. They've got so many options on there. If I ever buy one, which is very infrequent, I'll look at the box, flip it over, look at the calorie content, and go straight to how much fat there is. I've seen some that are in excess of 30 grams for one meal. Okay, I always try and get one that's under 10. As a guide, I always try and find one that's under 10. But you don't know what you don't know. So it's really important that you're across this, and if you can reduce your fat content on a daily basis and be consistent with that over several weeks, you're going to see a result on the scales. You really will, because your body has only a certain amount of energy it can use based on your consumption of food. The rest of it will come from your body fat. And if you've reduced your calorie intake significantly, well, guess what? You're going to see results. So I'll finish up there and keep this relatively short, but I've given you a fair idea on how to reduce the fat content. And I've just looked at my screen, and I had a list of different fat options on my screen to remind me and prompt me of what to talk about. Sausages is another one. And I did this in a seminar not that long ago, and used the bun-in sausage as a principal example. We've all grabbed the bun-in sausage from time to time. We wanted to support the charity, but we also want a sausage because you walk past the barbecue and geez, it smells so good. But those sausages are the cheap barbecue sausage. They're generally high in fat because they're basically leftover parts of the animal, and that's why they taste so good, because they're so high in fat and high in salt, and that's what we crave from a primal perspective. But each sausage can contain 15 to 20 grams of carbs, 15 to 20 grams of fat just on its own. One single sausage. That can really disrupt your day if you're being mindful. So yeah, things like that to be aware of. And that's what it is. It's about awareness, it's about mindfulness, and it's about education. If you can cover all those bases, you're going to go a long way in having success. So I will wrap up there. Thank you once again for tuning in. I really do appreciate all the listens. We are approaching the 200 episode mark. If anyone that listens to this has any suggestions, any topics you'd like me to discuss, any people you'd like me to approach for interviews, please let me know. DM me, shoot me an email, please let me know. If you're interested in any of my coaching services, please jump on paulsbodyengineering.com, or alternatively just send me an email or a DM, and happily discuss options with you. But if you have enjoyed this podcast, please screenshot, share it to your stories, tag myself, share it to a friend, share it to someone you think may benefit from listening to it, because that's what it's all about. It's about sharing, it's about content, it's about education. And once again, as I say to every client, every single day, have a great day. Are you looking to shed a few kilos, change your composition, improve your relationship with food, increase your strength, or simply just have a better accountability level? Then maybe coaching is for you. I now offer online coaching in a number of capacities, from week to week, fortnightly, monthly, and of course nutrition only coaching. So if you are interested or want to know more, simply jump on paulsbodyengineering.com or simply send me a DM. Experience the difference with Matt Glynn at Code Property Group. With a 20-year reputation of a clean business, Matt is your guy when it comes to all things real estate. Make sure you give him a call now on 0404 315 066.